Hi, this is Terry. I'm trying out some of the effects in OBS Studio, and well, I have a halo around my head, whatever. Today, I wanted to talk about the necessary tools to have in your toolbox when you're working as an IT professional or as an Oracle database consultant or Oracle database analyst, as I have done for many years. Let me explain. There are three tools that everybody should have, but not everybody does. The first one of the tools is a binary approach to solving business problems. They can be any problem, not only limited to IT or database administrator, whatever. I'm putting myself up here with Alexander the Great. The first approach, or the first tool, is a binary approach and is Alexander's approach to the Gordian knot. You may be familiar with the legend, but in it, he solved the Gordian knots and was the person who solved the Gordian knot was destined to become the ruler of the world, which he did, or the world in those days. His approach was simply to take his sword and cut the knot in half. Here is an example of a Gordian knot, not necessarily the one that Alexander cut in half, but you can see how intricate it is, and you don't know how to begin to solve it. If you just cut it in half, well, it'd be unfortunate for the climbers who are using this knot, but in any case, the principle is the same. Binary approach to solving business problems. The second tool to have in your toolbox is called functional decomposition. You may be familiar with the term, but if you're not, let me explain. Functional decomposition. What is it? It's a method of analysis that dissects a process in order to examine its individual elements. It's used to facilitate the understanding and management of large and complex processes. It helps solve problems and aids in the development of business operations, computer programming, database administration, and a variety of other fields. It breaks down large complex process into an array of smaller units or tasks, fostering a better understanding of the overall process. So that's what that is. Pure and simple. And the third and final tool to have in your toolbox, and perhaps in certain cases the most important one, is the ability to think outside of the box. What does thinking outside of the box entail? It's very important when reality is changing to something that we've never known before. What does it mean? Thinking differently if it seems out there, entertaining new ideas and being free to think. One of the questions to ask oneself is, if I'm unable to solve the problem, maybe the problem is something different or outside of what I've experienced or what is normal. And if you take that approach, it can really help in allowing you to come up with interesting solutions to various problems. So, in my many years as an Oracle database administrator, I went through a wide variety of problems to solve, and all three of these tools helped me in different ways at different times Not necessarily all of them at once, but certainly each one of them I used in solving problems and approaching problems during my days as an Oracle database administrator. Today I want to talk probably about what was probably the most unique challenge that I had. One day I got a call from the company that I was working with that was finding placements for me as a consultant, and they said they wanted me to come right over to Tampa right away, that there was a company that they were working with had an extremely difficult problem, and they didn't want to discuss it over the phone. So I drove up to Tampa and there met with my company, and they took me over to the clients. And it was kind of interesting because a lot of people seemed very, very worried. There was an Oracle consultant from Oracle Corporation there doing his analysis and everything. And I found out that their lead DBA had been fired, and there was obviously something going on. And I looked around, asked a few people, didn't get a very clear answer. And finally, a conference room was prepared, and the head of the company was there, the CEO, and the head of the data processing, the IT organization, the head of the database administration group, the person in charge of the SAN that they had. And I was really quite surprised to find out, finally they came out and said it, that their database was dead. Their Oracle database had died. They had a major electrical problem in their building, and it shut down all of the components of their SAN, the electricity, everything. And when they tried to come back up, they experienced immediate problems trying to get the database back up. And they tried the various things and realized that their database was corrupt and just wouldn't come up using any kind of Oracle tools. And moreover, one of the really awful parts of it was that they went to look at the company doing their backups and found out that the backups hadn't been done properly for, well over a year. Oversight, whatever it was, but they were really screwed. And I hadn't quite experienced something like this, and asked a few questions and everything, and then went and did some research. And what I was questioning was that, with all this panic going on around me, I needed to step away for a while and think clearly. But I came to the conclusion that nobody was looking at the data files themselves. I started thinking out of the box. I said, what if it's possible, without all the DBMS, the management structure, whether it was possible to just go in and extract the data from the individual data files and reassemble the database. Did a bit of research and found out that Oracle did have a tool for that. Of course, this happened back in 2014, and Oracle had a tool called DUL, dull, and it was nothing but dull. It could go in and extract data from data files and then reconstruct. Well, it took some manual intervention, but Basically, the database could be reconstructed from the data files. There might be a bit of data loss, not 100, you couldn't restore 100%, but let's say about 99%, which is what I actually did. I didn't have too much experience with the tool itself, so I went around looking for alternatives. And I found one in the form of a guy named Paul, or Pavel, in Poland. And together with him, he used a tool called dbView. I don't know whether the tool still exists in the same form that it was before, but together working with Doe and dbView, Pal and I were able to reconstruct the database piece by piece from the data files. The process took us about a week, maybe about 10 days, but at the end of the tunnel, we had reconstructed the database to the great relief of the CEO, who came down and thanked me profusely when I dared show my face back at the client's site. And, they were obviously very, very pleased because it saved the company from a potential bankruptcy, going under. This was their customer database with all the customer information, with HIPAA problems in there, and my God, it would have been a real mess. However, using the three tools that I told you about, a binary approach, functional decomposition to a certain extent, but primarily thinking outside the box, I got the job done to the satisfaction of the client, the evident satisfaction of the client. And I walked on water that time. In any case, that's the story. And it was one of the most challenging and unusual experiences that I had as a database administrator. There are many others, but this one took the cake, so to speak. Okay, have a great day. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. And keep in mind, you got to keep those three tools in your tool set if you're going to rise to the top, become creme de la creme. Okay, have a great day. Bye.